What is going on, Thunder fans? First time this year getting to do a live show after a loss. As the Thunder lose tonight in just a game where defensively, by far the worst defensive game of the year for the Thunder, allowing 24 points. Is that right? I mean, just not a good defensive performance. And maybe the positive you take from this is they didn't play very good at all, and they had a chance to win because it was just not a great performance overall. There was a lot of things. I think the last part of the game there was Shai. I mean, you had a timeout too. I thought Mark might use a timeout there, guys. I don't know what your thoughts are. Thought they might use a timeout. Didn't get a great look.
Yeah, well, I'm a fan of letting them run, especially off of a missed free throw if you're able to advance the ball some, maybe get numbers in transition. But Jason and Hunter, this was the first time, I think, in a long time where I felt like I saw Shai force the game. Like, Shai didn't let the game come to himself, it looked like, all night. He didn't shoot the ball well. Hunter, I don't know if you can maybe find Shai's exact stat line on the night, but this was the worst game I think offensively I've seen him play in a while. He missed a lot of shots around the rim that we see him make a lot. He wasn't hitting his threes. And, Steven, you said it, Russ, man. Russell Westbrook had a phenomenal game. Russ tends to do this every single year where he'll have a streak of bad games and he'll have a streak of good games. He'll have a streak of bad games. He'll have a streak of solid games. That's just who he is as a player. And the Thunder, they didn't get I guess you could say they didn't get the bad Russ tonight. They got an awesome Russ.
Yeah, SGA had a bad game. He still had 28 points.
Yeah, 8 turnovers. Can't have the
turnovers is what kills. 0 for 3 from behind the arc, 10 of 19 from the field as a whole. I think that was a terrible decision, especially how they slowed it down to not call a timeout. Why are you slowing it down and not calling the timeout?
Well, the other thing is this. If you're down 2, shoot it earlier in case you get a rebound or foul again. Here's the thing: if you're not going to call a timeout, shoot it, and then if they rebound, you can foul them and get the ball back and go to half court with the timeout. I just thought it was.
I think it's fine to run it down all the way, but the whole numbers and trying to create something, not a fast break, but a fast pace of play off of the turnover there. It just doesn't make any sense when you're just going to slow it down at the top of the key.
Yeah.
Well, I felt like Shai was kind of pressing a lot tonight, and when I say pressing, I think it was too much dribbling. I think down the stretch he was dribbling it quite a bit. Couple of things from what I thought of this game. Okay, this is a game they need Hartenstein.
Yeah,
games like this. This is a game in the playoffs. If you don't have Ihart, it's a game you can lose, just like what Greg said. Chet, I don't know his stats are not in front of me. Jokic had about 17 assists, probably 20 rebounds, and 25 points, I guess.
Jokic had 20 rebounds. Chet had 10.
And by the way, Hunter, the last play of the game, the last missed free throw, Chet got beat again, and Caruso came in there and got the ball. But here's the thing. Caruso played his butt off defensively, but he's got to give them a little bit more on offense or just not shoot it, because you can't. They're leaving him open.
You can't. No, it's not shoot it, because then that's the same situation it was.
I'm not saying not shoot it. I say he's got to give him more. He's got to start knocking some shots down.
1 of 9 tonight. 0 for 3 from behind the arc. Had a wide open threes tonight that you have to make in a close game, especially when your opponent is knocking down just about every three they're putting up down the stretch. I mean, 42% from beyond the arc.
Yeah, but the Thunder were right with them at 41%.
They were, yeah.
So what's the reason they lost this game? And in the chat, if you got, what is the, probably say number one reason they lost this game, what would you say it was?
Rebounding.
I think it's defense.
Yeah, I would go defense too.
I mean, 124 points, and it was just bad. Do you throw it in there as maybe with Aaron Gordon out, with Murray out, that they thought maybe were they just thinking this would be We've already beat them once. We'll beat them again. I mean, I don't know. And we got a caller on the line. We got Colin on the line. What's up, Colin?
What's up?
What's going on, man?
Of course, hate to see it with the Thunder lose, but I liked how we kind of were able to kind of come back late playing how we were playing. But to answer the question about how this happened, I feel like I started to see a lot of what we saw in the playoffs against the Mavs, where Jokic was too much of a threat down low, that we were starting to help and try to double team, which left the wide open 3-point shooters. And you just can't let the shooters get hot, because if they do, it's just hard to come back when we can't make our shots.
Colin, that's a great take, because that is what happened. He had 17 assists, 16 assists, Jokic. And it is kind of similar to that. And I don't care what player you're playing against. In the NBA, they will knock those threes down if they're that open. And I just think overall it wasn't a good defensive performance. The good thing is it's one game out of 82. So,
there still is a shot. They go 81-1.
Oh, stop, Jackson, please.
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
In that situation, would you still have Shai take the final shot, or would you try to time out and get J-Dub to take
I
it?
would call a timeout and probably still let Shai take the shot.
He's been good in the club.
Yeah.
I just feel you got to take a timeout there, because I get you on a fast break with the 2 missed free throws, but the shot clock's running down. You don't want to force something. I'd rather call a timeout, get a play that will probably work, and try to give up your best effort.
And then if they're able to call maybe a timeout on that spot, you get a guy like Isaiah Joe in the game for a Caruso who's not shooting.
Exactly.
And then also
exactly.
maybe you can take out a Lou Dort for a guy like Aaron Wiggins.
Yeah, I think I would have brought one of those guys in for the 3, and just in case Shai gets double and he can kick it out. I would agree with that.
I also feel like this was a very physical game. There was a lot of pushing and shoving that got away. Of course, you can never blame the refs. I never won. I hate blaming the refs for games, but it definitely felt like a very physical game.
It was a physical game. They could have used iHeart.
Yeah, I'm not going to blame the officiating, because they called it.
No.
So yeah, they called it both ways. It was a very physical game.
Yeah. Hey, thanks for the call.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it. Platoon 20 says this game is a perfect representation of what happened in the playoffs. We can dominate first half, but in crunch time, our guys are young and don't make good decisions. We can't beat Boston. I'm not ready to say that, but I will say that I do think down the stretch, and third quarter has been their dominant quarter this year, and they got lit in the third quarter tonight. 40 points they allowed. They got lit up. And in the fourth quarter, when that game got tight, I do think there was some tightness. And it was, I don't know if the word is tight. I think more the word that when I watching it was it seemed discombobulated. And
yeah,
that's why when Greg got put in here, I think what this team's going to probably have to do in some games, when you got 3 really good players, can't always be Shai in the last minute. If you got a guy that's hot, and J-Dub was hot. J-Dub was very hot. Maybe you do got to defer. And I'm not saying that tonight. I'm just saying in general, when you got, as you go through this season, when you got so many good players and so many talented players, that they may need to consider that down the stretch. I don't know. Shai just was struggling mightily. He had the play before that, he got to the rack, but Jokic kind of let him go and get the layup. But yeah, I don't know how
he was trying to avoid a foul there. There was a little bit of contact there. He was trying to not get the foul, because that would have been a 3-point play. And yeah, no lead safe in the NBA. I think that's what tonight showed as well. Yeah. You can go on runs, especially good teams like the Denver Nuggets, regardless of how good Oklahoma City's been defensively. And also, I think we have to talk about it. 28 fouls, personal fouls tonight for the Thunder. That is giving the Nuggets 33 free throws. They only made 24 of them. That's 24 points right there, just off of free throws.
There's your normal average is under 100. You take out 24 made free throws. Makes a difference, Hunter.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, though, don't you feel like they were kind of getting beat downhill a little bit tonight? And I think that was part of the problem. And then with Jokic, just they couldn't guard him one-on-one. That's part of the problem when you go against some of these bigs without having iHeart. He was backing Chet down. He was getting low, and if you double him, it was leaving guys open. And they absolutely missed iHeart tonight.
Yeah,
this is a game they could have used for sure.
16 assists tonight from Jokic.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Crazy. And I think that's Germ. Can't make bad plays down stretch, but it took a monster night from Joker, and Westbrook was great. Thunder turned ball over all night and fouled all night and still almost won the game. That's the positive, is they didn't play good at all, and they had a shot to win it.
Not just a shot. They had felt like 15 of them in the final couple of minutes, of where if those things go their way, we're talking about, oh my goodness, how did the Thunder win this game tonight with how bad they played? They had the opportunities, they just weren't able to make.
And you know what I love about J-Dub's game? And I'm not comparing him to Shai, saying he's better than Shai. Just first, do not come at me, everybody, because I know that's what's going to happen. But what I love about J-Dub is he makes a move and then either pulls up or keeps going to the right. There's not a whole lot of dribbling around. It's like very aggressive move, pull it back, hit the jumper. It's very simple but aggressive. And I think sometimes I think Shai dribbles around a little too much. I don't know. Don't at me. Don't come at me. I'm just saying that's just me. But tonight, when you're not handling the ball very well, like Shai, having 8 turnovers, I think it shows up more when I'm watching it, because I'm like, man, another turnover. But I'm not saying that he's not the best player on the team, so don't take it wrong.
And something that I noticed tonight about Shai too is this is something that I think's been a factor through the early part of the season, is he's trying to force the 3 ball. He's trying too hard to get the 3 ball to fall. And I think it's causing him, I don't know if the right word is maybe lose confidence, but hesitate in other parts of his game. Like he's trying to overthink things, drive downhill, make more of the perfect play, then just let the game come to him. And then also with him maybe not hitting a ton of his shots, maybe to what we saw him hit last year throughout the season, he's trying too hard as well to get to the free throw line too, and he's not really trying to create his own shot. So maybe if I'm Shai, obviously I'm not Shai, but he needs to try to maybe step back on the threes, the amount of threes, attack downhill, do what worked so well last year, get to the mid-range.
Yeah, but he only shot 3 threes tonight.
Yes, I know
that's a whole lot.
But still, if I would maybe like to only take 1 to 2 a game.
You
I
can't
don't know about
take
that.
1 or 2 a game. Come on now.
No, I don't know about that.
Averaging 6 a game right now.
Fact of the matter is, Isaiah Joe was 3 of 9 tonight, and he's been really good. And he was 30%.
That's what I was about to get to, Joe.
You also got Case and Wallace. It was 0 for 3 from 3. But overall, they shot at 40% from 3. You can't argue it. Here's the thing. They shot it better, or they shot it just almost as good a clip as Denver. They had less turn, which is crazy. I think I may be wrong. I think they might have had less turnovers than Denver.
They did. 14 to 18.
So, this game comes down to they couldn't get defensive stops. And if there's anything on the Mark Dagnall, Mark call a timeout, I agree he should have called a timeout. But I looked up, this was odd. I looked up in the fourth quarter as Denver kept scoring and Thunder couldn't get stops. And I kept thinking, call a timeout. And then I look up, they only had 2. They used them so early.
You have to manage them better.
They used them too early in the half. I
Which
think they had
some
them
of it
on runs.
It happens. Yeah, you have to call a timeout to try to kill the momentum of a run at times. So,
what do you think about Chet's play, guys, lately? Hasn't been very – I mean, shooting-wise, he hasn't been that great. Today, 5 of 14 from the field. Yeah, he was 2 of 3 from 3, but 5 of 14 from the field. I think – when he gets into games and you got a dominant big man like Jokic, I think it affects his offense big time. And that's just me. I think it does. I think he's trying to give so much on the defensive side that it does affect him offensively a little bit.
I think it's too early to say that, Jay.
Yeah.
I mean, first game of the year against the same player, against Jokic, he had 25. He dominated.
First game of the year, that's the difference.
No,
Game 7.
Still, like, I think it's 8 games for Chet. I mean, if you want to split it down the middle, and it actually does that perfectly between October and November. Yeah, the last 4 games he's averaging 10 points a night compared to 22.5 in the first 4 games of the season.
And
so
I'm not bashing on Chet, everybody. I see Joseph say he's 22. I'm not bashing on him. I'm just basically saying this would have been a perfect game for iHeart for him. And I think it would have helped him out.
I agree.
That's all I'm saying. And Corey has a great comment. When a team has the best player, that team always has a chance to win, and Joker was the best player on the court. Specifically in a sport like the NBA, if you have the best player, you have a chance to win. Joker was the best player on the court today. You're right, Corey. That's a great comment. And guys, it's not like all negative Nancy here because it's one game, and the Thunder played not very good at all, and they had a chance to win the game. So I think you take what it is, you move on, you get the Rockets next, you get back on a win streak. Then they weren't going undefeated, everybody, and they're probably not winning 72 games. So they're going to have some slip-ups.
Yeah, and you get now 6 games at the Paycom Center. You're back home for a long time. I think that's
the Warriors coming to town. That'll be a good matchup.
Buddy Hield. You see that tonight.
Buddy Hield. Did they end up beating Boston?
Yeah.
I would have to check.
Yeah.
So they are at 1 loss right now, Golden State.
Yeah. I think they won 112-107. That might have been the final score.
The Warriors 8-1, 7-1, unbelievable start for them.
I'm going to be at the game on Sunday night, guys. I'll be at Paycom.
Nice.
So it'll
great.
be rocking in Paycom.
God, man, Steve Kerr can coach ball. Kerr can coach ball.
Yeah.
Platone says, this is the version of Chet we will see in the playoffs. The early season version of Chet was a mirage. I disagree, Platone. I'm not ready to say that.
That's a massive overreaction.
Yeah, I am still with this. I still got Thunder Celtics right now.
Yeah. The Thunder, they don't have J. Will or Hartenstein, their other 2 bigs, healthy right now. Chet's the only big. So I want to wait until this team is fully healthy to see what Chet's going to be.
Yeah, and I said the other night after when Hartenstein comes back, I said, 16-4? Is that what I said? I believe I said. Mm-hmm. I might still stick to that. 16.
I thought we did because it's 22 games. I thought you did 18-4.
Maybe I did 18-4. Okay. I might stick with that. Yeah, Colin, you're right. Caruso's got to hit some open ones because I think here's what will happen. The more he doesn't hit him, the more they will slack off him and go to the paint.
That's what they did last year with Josh Giddey.
Correct.
You can't
totally
have the
different
guy.
Defensively.
Yeah.
You can't. And I will give it to Caruso because tonight defensively, the guy was playing with heart down the stretch.
Well, he played great defensively.
There was 2 times that he gave Oklahoma City a perfect in the final minute, perfect chance to go in there and tie it up or win it. And then even the Jokic play, the guy was going all out. The final few minutes defensively, and even though the offense isn't there, he's still a valuable part to this team.
Yeah, and there's the link if you want to call in. It's right there. When we getting iHeart back?
The projection, I want to say it's December 3rd, December 6th, somewhere in there. It's around game 22 when they're expecting him back. That would be at that 5 to 6 week mark from his injury. So
yeah. Hey, and one play we haven't talked about may have been the play of the game. Caruso with the steal, Lou Dort 1-on-1.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of getting at.
Lou Dort 1-on-1. You're in the NBA, you got to go up with the left hand and finish that. I don't know why he tried to go underneath. Go up with the left. He's either going to foul you or you're going to make the shot. The guy's on this side of you. And I'm not telling that NBA player what to do.
And Caruso also had that nice assist where he drove in and
dished it out.
ended up wide open for 3. So.
Yeah.
Jay, that's some things that Shai did tonight too. Was he wouldn't use the left hand on the left side of the goal. You're in the NBA, like that should be a routine play for you, but we're not NBA players.
I think they were trying to draw fouls, and it's probably what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
But Dort is so strong and physical. I think just go up strong. I mean, but we're sitting there watching it from our couch with a bottle of water, and I'm just enjoying it. So it is what it is. So don't nobody say that I'm just coming after Dort. I'm just saying, like, that's a big play in the game, and it was for an NBA player, it's probably one he makes probably 85% of the time. So Chief says,
probably even higher than that.
Yeah, Chief says, still wish Westbrook could have learned to be a distributor rather than an alpha. How valuable could he have been in helping this team develop even higher? Yeah, but I think he was there. He wasn't. I mean, he stayed for so long. Thunder will bounce back in a big way. I agree.
I mean, if Oklahoma City didn't move on from Russell Westbrook, the team that they have right now looks a heck of a lot different.
Yeah.
That whole move and everything, that kind of domino effect that created, is why they're in the position to where they're the best team in the West right now and have a real chance to compete for an NBA title this year.
Phone lines are open if you'd like to call in and chat. Guys, anything, and in the chat as well, put this in the chat if you want. Maybe coming out of this game with a loss, I know it's one game. It's not that big of a deal when you look at the long season, but what concerns you after watching this? Any concerns at all?
For me, it's Alex Caruso not being able to hit open threes. I think he's going to have to be able to do that because what was this, game 7 of the season? Game 8?
He's a 40% three-point shooter in
this
career.
That's my point. So you would think at a point it's going to eventually click for him. He's going to start hitting the open threes. But when is it going to come? Because you'd rather have it come sooner rather than later. Whenever you have teams like the Nuggets tonight, you start helping off guys like Shai and making things harder on Chet to be able to attack downhill against Jokic. So it's just he's got to be able to knock down the open threes when they're there.
I mean, right now, through 8 games, he's shooting 16% from beyond the arc.
Yeah.
It's been rough. It's been an issue. It's continued to be an issue.
That's probably lower than what Russ is shooting on the season from 3.
Oh,
I don't think I even have to look to know the answer to that.
Hey, one thing I'll say that I thought was kind of surprising tonight, and I don't listen, I don't hardly ever, I mean, you can ask Jeremy too. I don't criticize Mark Dagnall very often at all. He's just too good of a coach. But Andrew Wiggins was 5 of 9 for the field, 2 of 4 from 3, 13 points.
Yep.
He played 17 minutes.
I agree, Jay.
I would absolutely love to see Wiggins play more than 17 minutes. I don't know. I mean, Caruso played 22, Dort 26, Joe 25. But Wiggins is not just he can play defense better than Joe, and he shot the ball really well. I think 17 minutes for Wiggins is a little low. You guys
I thought even with Ousmane Deng tonight, only 10 minutes. I mean, small sample size, what he was doing from the field, 2 of 2 from the field with the 3-pointer as well, 6 points plus 5. I mean, maybe. I mean, Aaron Wiggins saves basketball. You should play a little bit more. Yeah. And again, right now, I think you see it with Chet as well. Having to guard Jokic, the best player in the game, uber physical. I mean, the guy plays physical basketball, and you're asking Chet to go out there and play 36 minutes because there's no other option right now. They're down iHeart, they're down J. Will, they're down Kenny. I mean, he's the only big on the team. You have to. I think a role in kind of the talk right now of people in the chat wanting to talk about is this a version of Chet we'll see in the playoffs. I mean, that all factors in.
Well, and by the way, not only did he play 36 minutes, the Joker played 39. So the whole time Chet's in, Joker's leaning on him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a real deal. Like, Joker played 39 minutes. So Chet never got a break from Joker, hardly. So Clement says we have to stop fouling teams. The disparity between us and our opponents is crazy. Got to learn to play physical defense without fouling. I agree. I think, I don't know how many Dort ended up with, probably four fouls. Dort's very physical. And you know what? He gets away with it sometimes, but sometimes he just doesn't. And you got to learn how to play defense without being.
Dort and J-Dub both had 4 fouls. Caruso had 5 today.
Yeah.
Casey Wallace had 4.
Yeah, Casey Wallace had 4, like 15 minutes.
All the guards had a lot of fouls. I mean, Isaiah Joe had 3. That was a boneheaded foul he had down the stretch that gave him 2 free throws for. I mean, you just can't do that. You have to be able to play defense in those situations and hope you can get a defensive stop instead of stopping the clock and sending them to the line where, in that instance, they made both free throws.
Yeah, and Jay, something you said about Aaron Wiggins maybe not playing enough minutes, I think that might become an issue for a lot of guys when it just comes to later in the season with how deep this team is. It's like you have to give Shai, Chet, and J-Dub all their minutes because they're your 3 best players. And so really there's only 2 spots to go around to play 7, 8, or maybe even 9 different guys when it comes to that point in the playoffs or in the second half.
No, you got. I mean, he's a forward type player, so you're only going in for like probably 2 other guys.
Yeah, and right now they're playing 10 guys without their 3 bigs. I mean, when those 3 guys come back, you have to imagine the bare minimum with 12-man rotation, if not 13. And then playoffs is going to change a little bit. But even then, I think the Thunder, I don't think they're going to a 9-man rotation with what they brought in, what they did last year. I think it's still going to be 10, 11, maybe cut down a few guys.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Jackson, as far as it's going to be tough to distribute those minutes. I agree with you on that. But to me, when you got a guy shooting the ball well and doing everything good, I think that's a game he needs more minutes. You know what I mean? Like you look at him and Casey Wallace. Casey Wallace had 20 minutes. He played more than Wiggins, and he shot the ball terrible tonight and was in foul trouble. So Wiggins had 0 fouls. So I just think – and, it may be a deal like I think basketball's hard. I think sometimes you look down at the bench and you're like, oh, geez, I haven't put him in a while. Like I mean, I don't know if that's the way in NBA. It's the way it was when I coached first grade guys. I'd be like, shoot, I got to get that player in.
First grade to the league, Jay.
My list on Upwards Basketball says you have to play everybody the same amount. Yeah. Oh, please get in there, man. Get in there. It's not the same as
sports. How much youth sports you got to hit the snap.
And I played by the rules, Hunter. I played by the rules.
Good job, Jay. That's how it should play by the rules. It's not that deep. Let the kids play. Get everyone in there.
Yeah.
This isn't Upwards, so they don't all get the same minutes.
And guys, I think although the Thunder lost this game, they only lost by 2 points, playing below average game for OKC Thunder standards from what we've seen through the first 7 games. I mean, there's not much to – there's some to be frustrated about because they should have won the game. They had plenty of opportunities, left a lot of plays out there, but this Thunder team, they're going to be really good throughout the season, and I don't think this is anything that's going to affect the team.
You're right, and it really – I don't know if you guys agree with this or not, but NBA basketball, when you got a good team, it's great to have the home court advantage, but the playoffs are more about matchups. It's more about who you're matched up against than it is being a 1 or a 2 seed. I mean, to me, I just think it's more important, like who you're matched up against. And these losses, okay, what can you take from these losses that'll help you in the playoffs? That's all that matters. They're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be a high seed. None of that. They're favored in the next 25 games, for goodness sakes, till January 6th when they play Boston. Based on the ESPN FBI, they're favored in every single game, which Warriors game that'd be interesting.
Yeah, real quick on the FBI, though. They're favored. It's not ESPN saying that they're projecting the Thunder to finish with only 1 loss. It's a game-by-game, matchup-based projection. And all of that. So,
Closing thoughts, guys?
I mean, it showed that the Thunder are like every other NBA team where leads can evaporate in the third quarter. You can give up 40 points. And they played bad, got into foul troubles, fouled way too much, weren't able to hit some shots. They still shot 40% from
Yeah.
beyond the arc, and they had multiple opportunities down the stretch to win the game. When, I mean, I know Jay, me and you were texting. It was down 8, game over, 3 minutes left. This one's over. They made it a game down the stretch.
They had a chance.
Yeah, they had a chance, and this is still a very good Thunder team.
Yep. Some things I have is Thunder, they need to get Hartenstein back as soon as possible. Take some of the bearing off Chet so he doesn't have to play all the center minutes, isn't responsible for taking the physicality every single night from bigs. And also Alex Caruso, Cason Wallace, these guys, they need to be able to hit their open threes consistently when they get the opportunity. So
yeah, I know. My last thought would just be it's one game. It's not that big of a deal in the long run.
Yeah.
They're going to lose sooner rather than later, and they lose this one. The Nuggets are a really good team. Let's face facts. They're a good team because they have Joker. And I know a lot of people, including me, said Murray's out, Gordon's out. This is a dub for the Thunder.
Yeah.
And this did look a little bit like Thunder from last year. And the fact that you haven't seen it this year where they've allowed these big quarters and big runs against them. It happened tonight, and it bit them. I mean, that's plain and simple. When you allow 40 points in a quarter, you may lose. I mean, it's just fact. So Thunder lose tonight, 124-122. First loss on the year. Thunder are 7-1, tied over there in the Western Conference with the Warriors. Golden State and Buddy Hield they'll be coming to Oklahoma City next week. So is that next week? I believe it is.
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah, I consider that next week. Yep. So that should be an interesting game. But hey, appreciate you guys being on here tonight. As Jesse says here to close it out, says SGA should have passed. SGA did not play well. Still ended up with 28 points, 10 of 19 from the field. Just didn't play well turnover-wise. It wasn't that good. And I agree. Should have called a timeout. Should have, would have, could have, but didn't. And the Thunder lose 124-122. Hey, appreciate it. Make sure you like the video. It helps the channel out. Appreciate you guys. We'll talk to you next time. Have a good night.